As a democratic country, its founding principle lies with safeguarding the rights and liberty of the entire nation. The Philippines as a republic function in serving the people and protecting them to be an empowered member of the society. The government, translated through different agencies form, ensures that they maintain a peaceful and inclusive environment for Filipinos to discover. On a primary outlook, the Philippines has the Armed Forces of the Philippines consisting of three branches, namely Philippine Army for land territory, Philippine Navy for aquatic territory, and Philippine Air Force for aerial territory. These government agencies are responsible for upholding the sovereignty and constitution against external and internal threats. For the judicial role, we have the Supreme Court as the highest court of the Philippines. It functions for the protection of constitutional rights, pleading and admission of practices of the law. On the other hand, the Department of Justice is the government law agency for counsel and prosecution. Lastly, the Commission of Human Rights is an independent government office invoking civil and political rights of the Filipino citizens. Other institutions that are worth mentioning are the following. The Philippine National Police is the armed national police force of the country. The National Bureau of Investigation for handling high-profile crimes within the country. And since the pandemic started, the Interagency Task Force for the Management of Infectious Disease is the government organization whose duty is to control and respond to the affairs relating to viral diseases.
Now, let us try to look at what is happening in our current situation, what problems started to surface, and what the government is doing about it. Last March 24, an article was published by Inquirer.net talking about one of the evident problems today, which is red tagging. Lorraine Badoy, a member of the government officials, stated that red tagging is not at all dangerous, but due to the evidence of 427 activists killed after being red tagged, it has caused a huge complaint from the mass. Another problem that is also very much evident today is gun violence. Police nowadays have been given the power to shoot at any time if they feel like one suspect fought against them. On August 26, 2021, an article was released based on the murder of a mother and a son by Sergeant Junel Noesca, which happened last December 20, 2020. With the evidence showing how Sergeant Noesca killed Sonia and Frank Gregorio without thinking twice, shows how police nowadays are drowning in their power. With this, the citizens have complained about the Philippine National Police being more of the mentors rather than protectors of the Filipino people. Land grabbing has been a problem early on, but due to more and more people not properly observing the preservation of forests, it has become a much bigger problem being faced right now. Based on an article published by CNN Philippines last July 1, 2021, Masungi Reserve has recently reported recent fires raging at the upper part of Marikina watershed and has urged the authorities to act about it. It was also mentioned that under the environmental law, any manner of causing forest fires inside the protected area will be considered illegal. It has been reported that almost 10 hectares of land has been damaged due to illegal actions. Billy Dumaliang has proposed and urged leaders and citizens of the Philippines to come together as one to make a serious effort of saving the protected forest areas and critical watersheds.
Regional dispute has always been one of the issues that the Philippines faces up until today. For 400 years, most of the Muslim areas in the southern part of the Philippines have been always resisting the authority of the Manila. The formation of the BARM in 2019 marked the most hopeful chance for long-term peace in living history. After years of violence and cyclical peace process setbacks, Duterte established an 80-member Bangsamoro Transition Authority to execute the two-track peace process and lead the region to its first elections in May 2022. As the Philippines prepares for general elections in May 2022, in which Duterte will relinquish power, there is a pressing need for Manila and the global community to support the most promising opportunity for long-term peace in Mindanao in decades. Violence against women and girls endangers their health, dignity, security, and autonomy, yet it is kept under wraps in the Philippines. Violence does indeed have health impacts, including chronic disability, unwanted pregnancies, lifelong psychological trauma, sexually transmitted illnesses such as HIV, and even death. According to the 2017 National Demographic and Health Survey, 1 in every 20 women and girls aged 15 to 49 in the Philippines has suffered sexual violence in their lifetime. According to data from the Philippine National Police, 602 people were raped across the country from March 17 to May 23, or an average of 8 persons each day. The PNP did not go into detail about the areas with the highest number of instances or whether any of the victims were youngsters. The shutdown of ABS-CBN also had a significant impact in the Philippines. The National Telecommunications Commission ordered the ABS-CBN broadcasting network to discontinue operations on Tuesday due to the expiration of its legislative license in May 2020. ABS-CBN News stated that the network will continue to deliver news via its web platforms as well as its cable news channel ANC. Several bills requesting a new 25-year franchise for ABS-CBN Corporation are still pending in Congress. Legislative franchises are required for media outlets as well as for electric utilities and cable TV providers to continue its operation. The shutdown of ABS-CBN has caused an issue in the Philippines because some areas only receive signals from ABS-CBN and it is their sole source of current news and information.
With all these issues of injustice and violence, how can we solve this? Sustainable Development Goals, also known as SDGs and Global Goals, are a set of targets and indicators created by the United Nations back in 2015. All 17 goals aim to address the main problems the world is currently facing by the year 2030. The 16th goal is centered around peace, justice, and strong institutions. This aims to promote peaceful and inclusive societies for sustainable development, provide access to justice for all, and build effective, accountable, and inclusive institutions at all levels. Although the UN is in charge of this, we can still be active and do our part by simply being aware of the current events happening around us and having meaningful conversations about them with our peers and family. Another way is to be vocal about being against human rights violations, and this could be done by creating or joining organizations and unions that are passionate about this. And the most important thing we can do is to exercise our right to vote. Vote for national and local leaders who have genuine care for basic human rights. Contributing to and supporting their campaign could immensely change the state of our country in the best way possible. Let us take action and encourage others to join us in elevating the lives of one another, especially those who need it most. It may seem small, but what we do is significant for a larger cause.